Hi Tal, welcome to your second quarterly book recommendation video. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for supporting me. You are like one of my favorite people, to be honest. Don't tell the others, but like, I hope you enjoy them. You might have heard me talk about one or two of them before, but like, I'm just gonna hammer it home for you. You need to read them. So let's get started. First things first, let's start with something a little less horror-ish and more abstract. Something a little bit more different than what we're used to. Let's talk about Earthlings. Earthlings looks cute, but trust me when I say it's not that cute. It's actually kind of fucked up. Like, actually pretty fucked up. We're following a girl who is an outsider, basically, who is an outcast in her community, in her school, to her parents, to everyone. She's an outcast. It feels so much like an other that she comes to the realization that she's an alien from a different planet. Her and her cousin connect over this. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but I will tell you, Tal, that it's a hard-hitting book. I'm just gonna say that it's a hard-hitting book. That I read it, 2 months ago now, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still replaying itself in my head. It's just such a weird book. I'm not gonna say much about it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say that you should read it and that it's weird. But also trigger warnings for sexual assault and cannibalism. Okay, moving on. So I just finished reading this book this month and I really fuck with it, and I think you would also really fuck with it. The One by John Mars. This is about a near future where the human race has advanced to the point where people can be told who their soulmate is from just their DNA. We're following, I think, 6 or 7 different characters who've had their DNA matched with someone else, and it's crazy banana pants town. It's also super compulsive. The characters, each and every single one of them, is so interesting. And the way that John Mars writes this book is that it feels as though there are so many cliffhangers, and so you just feel compelled to keep reading because you want to know what the fuck is gonna happen. Throughout this entire book, I went through so many different phases of like, okay, well, I'm more interested in this storyline, to, oh my gosh, I'm really interested in this storyline. So your focus just switches back and forth between all of the characters because all of them have such interesting stories. It's not like your everyday kind of thriller where it's, you know, every single character is is threatened and is gonna be killed or something awful is gonna happen. They all face their own issues, and it's all really interesting, and they're all completely different. It's such an interesting book, and I think you would really like it. It's just a very well constructed thriller, and the writing and the characters and the plot is just so interesting. It's so good. Trust me, you're gonna love it. I think it was either your Goodreads or it was one of the photos you sent me, but you had this book on your shelves, and I think maybe I checked your Goodreads and you hadn't read it. Either way, I need you to read Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay if you haven't already. I hope you haven't already. This is such a fucking good book, and it's so underrated. People don't talk about it enough, in my opinion. Head Full of Ghosts, as I'm sure you know, is about a girl who might be possessed, and her family, in light of them thinking that she's possessed, invites a camera crew and producers into their home to film the whole thing, because, you know, that's super normal. It's a normal thing to do. I read this book, I think 3 or 4 years ago now, and it still sticks with me. It still sticks with me. It lights up this question of the difference between mental illness and like demons or ghosts, and they're like, Paul Tremblay just so beautifully mashes the two, where the line is so blurred and you can't tell the difference between the two for the book. And the characters are so genuinely interesting, especially the older sister. Like, it's fascinating. It's so fascinating. And like all of these people's motivations and their relationships with each other. And not only that, but like the whole book you're wondering, like, what is actually going on? Are we getting all of the information? Did all of this happen the way that they're talking about it happening? It's just a story about a family that is just like crumbling from the inside out. I love it. And you know how much I love a good like family, you know, familial horror story. So I couldn't help but recommend it to you because I know that you would love it. I know you would. And if you don't, then, well, fuck me. I'm gonna quickly talk about this because I don't know if you're actually gonna like it, but I know that I love it. I know that our taste is so similar that I can't help but like just feel like you're gonna love it. So hopefully you do. I'm talking about Blood on the Tracks. This is by Shuzo Oshimi. This is my new favorite thing. Point blank. That's it. Like, I am obsessed with this. Obsessed with it, Tal. Obsessed with it. I can't even begin to tell you how much I love this. So this is a horror psychological manga about the relationship between a mother and her son. It's fascinating. And things move both so slowly and so quickly in the book. And you're just left with this feeling of like unease and of disturbance. Like as if you're seeing something that you're not allowed to be seeing the whole time. Like literally different from anything else that I've ever read before. There are currently 4 volumes out, but trust me when I say that it's bingeable. So if you do plan on picking it up, I would recommend getting all of the volumes because you're gonna want to read them back to back to back to back. Trust me. I hope you read this. Please read this because you're gonna love it. You're literally going to love it. It's so fucked up. It's so hellish and traumatic. I can't describe how just absolutely horrible and amazing this is. Like, I love it so much. You need to read it. You need to read it. Speaking of manga, I was looking at the photos you sent me of the shelves and I didn't see this on there. So I have to recommend it to you. That is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Tal, have you not read this yet? I looked through the photo. I think I looked through your Goodreads and I didn't see it. Like, why haven't you read this yet? This is a classic manga by Junji Ito, and it's just gorgeous. First of all, the art is some of the most fucked up shit you're ever gonna see in your entire life. Trust. Just the character development, just the story progression. The detail is awe-inspiring and also incredibly disturbing. Why haven't you read this yet? You would literally love it. I know you would love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So when I see people who have very similar taste to me and they haven't read it, I have to say something. I hope you do read this. If you haven't already. If you've already read it, then I feel like a fucking idiot. But if you haven't read it yet, you need to. Like, what else do you need, you know? I'm gonna recommend 2 more books. The first one being Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I'm sure you've seen me talk about this, but let me just say, I feel like we're like soul sisters in terms of like horror tastes. And so I feel like you would also really, really fuck with this. I think anyone would fuck with this, but especially you, I think, would fuck with this. This is so fucking good, dude. Trust me. This is about a woman and a man who are married, and from the outside their relationship, their world is perfect, but on the inside things are real fucked up. It's one of the most captivating and compulsive books I've ever read. I binged it. I had to know what was gonna happen. If you want that kind of feeling, like, what else can I say? You just need to read this. Like, we love Ruth Ware most of the time, but trust me when I say that this is like a guaranteed 4 stars, at least, if not 5. It's just so readable, you know? You know that feeling? It's the perfect thriller, in my opinion, the perfect thriller. The last book I want to talk to you about, Tal, is Tender is the Flesh. I'm sure you saw me talk about this recently. You must have, because I had like an existential fucking breakdown about it. I didn't see it on your shelves and I didn't see it on your Goodreads, and I'm questioning, like, why aren't you reading it? Although, I mean, I'm telling you to read like 10 different things, so I get why you wouldn't be like on every single one of them instantly. Like, I get it. But let me just like urge you a little bit. That Tender is the Flesh is one of the most harrowing, disgusting, and like amazing books I've ever read. It made me question like everything about our society and our world and like the like culture that we live in. It, like, the ending of the book destroyed me as a person, as I'm sure you know. It's gorgeously translated. It forces you to sit in and watch all of these awful situations happen, and it forces you to listen to all of these people talk about their experiences and talk about how they dehumanize other people on a constant daily basis, and it forces you to be a part of it in a way. While the effect it had on me was like not pleasant, it was enough for me to say that you should read it and to tell everyone else that they should read it as well, because it just like tore me apart, and that so much that I want other people to be torn apart in similar ways to me. Do you know what I mean? Like when you see a sad movie and you're like, oh my god, you're gonna love it, you're gonna cry so much. It's like that. I experienced this pain. I want you to experience it as well. And that's what friends are. Well, that was your quarterly recommendation video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you read these books. I hope you love them. Please let me know if you read any of them and like what you think of them. I would love to know, please. Let me know if you already have read any of these, and if I need to like do even more like background research before I make these videos, because I don't want to give you recommendations of books you've already read. Like, that seems redundant. So yeah, let me know. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in your next recommendation video. Bye!